Okay, we'll look into the definition of rate of reaction. Rate of reaction means always it is rate means it is with respect to time, is change in concentration of reactants and products. Okay, this is the definition of rate of reaction. Now when any reaction is starting, okay, so there will be some starting substances and there will be some new substances formed. The starting substances that are there, we will call them reactants. The new substances that are produced, we will call them products. Now, as any reaction is proceeding, okay, let us take some simple example, H2 plus Cl2 giving us 2 HCl. Very simple example I have taken. Okay, now when the reaction is starting, when you are going to mix hydrogen and chlorine, at that time there will be some molecules of hydrogen and there will be some molecules of chlorine. As the reaction is happening in the forward direction, what will happen to the amount of number of molecules of hydrogen and chlorine? Rhythm, I'm asking you.
Decrease.
It will decrease. And what will happen to the number of molecules of HCl? Can you hear me?
Increase.
Okay, it will increase, right? So as the reaction is proceeding, the concentration of the reactants is going to decrease and the concentration of the products will be increasing. So this is what is happening. So how fast this change is taking place, that is the meaning of rate of reaction. Okay. Now, this rate of reaction, as the reaction is proceeding in the forward direction, the number of particles of H2 and Cl2 will be decreasing, the reactants will be decreasing. So because of that, what will happen to the speed of the reaction? Because there will be fewer and lesser number of particles of H2 and Cl2, the speed of the reaction is going to decrease. Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So that's what was explained in the graph in the previous part. This is how the reaction is going to proceed. In the beginning, there are more number of particles of reactants, so the speed of the reaction is going to be more. As it is proceeding at a certain point, at this point, the concentration of whatever the substance we are considering, it does not change. It means at this point, the reaction has stopped. Okay. Now, as you can see over here, the slope or the gradient is becoming less and less steeper. Here, the gradient is becoming 0. From this point, the gradient is becoming 0. It means the reaction has stopped. Here, as the reaction is proceeding, the value of gradient is decreasing. If I'm considering certain amount of volume of HCl gas that is formed at this point, the reaction has stopped taking place. This is the definition or meaning of rates of reaction. Okay. Now, what are the factors that are going to affect the rate of reaction? I've sent you that link. You just go through that link in the break that I'm going to give you in between. Okay. After that, you will be able to ask me questions from there. What are the different ways in which we are going to measure the rate of reaction? I'm coming to that point. Okay. The first method is whenever a gas is released. This method is known as gas syringe method. Okay, you can see over here, this is a closed vessel. The amount of gas that is getting collected over here, it will push the syringe. Initially, this volume of gas is going to be 0. As this reaction is happening, what is going to happen? The amount of gas will increase, but the speed is going to decrease. At a certain point, the curve will become flat. It means the amount of gas formation has stopped. Now, this is a very particular method in which the rate of reaction can be measured, how fast the reaction is going to take place. If you have any questions, you can ask me from here.
So can you repeat the gradient part where you were
Gradient is the same as this thing, which we have done 3 times today. Gradient means here the gradient will determine how fast the reaction is. Here the gradient is 0. It means the reaction has stopped taking place. Whenever the gradient becomes 0, the reaction has stopped taking place. In this example that we have taken, okay, over here the amount of gas that is produced is not changing. The amount of gas that is produced is remaining fixed only at all these points. So the gradient is 0, it means the reaction is stopped. In the beginning, the gradient value will be high because the slope is more steeper, because the reaction is fast. And as the concentration of reactants is decreasing, the gradient value also will decrease. Finally, at this point, from this point, it will become 0.
Yes, sir.
Okay? This was one method of determining the rate of reaction. The second method of finding the rate of reaction is change in mass. Okay. For example, I'm taking a simple example. Say I'm taking over here. Okay, this is a solid. This is aqueous. This is aqueous. This is a liquid, and this is a gas. Suppose if I'm taking this kind of an arrangement of the apparatus, and here we are having an electronic balance which is constantly measuring the mass. Okay, the total mass. Now here I have put over here calcium carbonate and HCl. The reaction is taking place, and what is escaping out from here?
CO2.
Okay, carbon dioxide will go. These both are liquid parts, they cannot go out. Carbon dioxide will go out. So what will happen to the reading over here that is taken place, that will you will observe in the electronic balance? Rhythm.
Decrease.
It is going to decrease. So here the graph, how this graph is going to be there. This graph is going to look somewhat like this. In the beginning, the mass is going to be maximum. As the reaction is proceeding, initially the slope will be steeper. And then at this point, okay, whatever the mass of CaCl2 and H2O is there is going to become fixed. So at this point, the rate of reaction is going to become 0. This method of determining or finding the rate of reaction is known as decrease in mass. I want you, all of you, to draw this diagram as well as that graph. If you have any questions, then you can ask me also. Now this is another experimental arrangement that I'm going to take into consideration. Here, whatever the reaction is taking place inside this apparatus. What is this apparatus called?
Conical flask.
Conical flask.
Correct. It's called conical flask. What is this arrangement called?
Cork.
Bung.
It is cork. Okay. And what is this called?
Delivery tube.
Tube.
Delivery tube. What is this type of arrangement called?
The
Downward delivery. This is
That is downward displacement of water. That is method of collection. I am asking what is this arrangement of apparatus called? It is called beehive shelf. Okay. So this is another method by which the rate of reaction can be measured. You can see directly over here the volume of the gas. Of course, it is going to be from the top. the volume of gas that is collected. As the gas is collected, this level is going to go down. Okay, so in some cases we will be able to measure rate of reaction in this method, and this kind of arrangement that is there is beehive shelf. Now this experiment that this arrangement that we have considered over here, we will not be able to measure the rate of this particular reaction. This reaction which is there, we will not be able to measure the rate of this reaction. Why? Why we can't measure the...
Because in
CO2
this
is
reaction, gas is given off.
So here also gas only is there. We are measuring the rate of reaction for gas only.
CO2
when-
is not an inward gas. That gas which goes up, which comes down. It's denser
What?
than air. It's denser than air, I suppose.
It is not collected over air. It is collected over water. You can't say CO2 is denser than water.
So can you repeat your voice?
This experiment cannot be used for this apparatus. For the arrangement of this apparatus, you cannot measure the rate of reaction for this chemical reaction.
So because carbon dioxide is heavy, so it will stay down.
It's heavier than water. There is no gas that is heavier than water.
No, it's heavier than oxygen. So
Oxygen kahan hai? It is collected above water.
Oh.
Water is over here. Look at this part. This all is water.
So because there is free space, मतलब CO2 can even go outside थोड़ा बहुत.
Kahan pe hai? It is packed. It is completely closed. You can't
Any
understand
from
the
down.
simple reason. There is no space to escape from anywhere. You should understand this, that you cannot use over here water soluble gases. CO2 will get dissolved only in water. So in that case, only gas syringe method can be used. You getting this point? Carbon dioxide is water soluble. You can use this method only if that gas is insoluble in water. If hydrogen is formed, then for that reaction you will be able to use. For example, if I'm using this reaction, Zn plus HCl giving me ZnCl2 plus H2. Hydrogen is insoluble in water. For this you will be able to use this arrangement of apparatus. Was that clear? Any questions?
No, sir.
Yes.
ठीक है?
हाँ.
The next part that I'm coming to is what is the meaning of fruitful collisions. Okay. Now see, in the reaction mixture which is there, suppose these are particles A and these are particles B. For any reaction to take place, this particle A and B must collide with each other. There should be collision between them, between the particles. Now it is not necessary that whenever this particle A and B will collide, it will always form AB. Not always. Only in some cases, depending upon conditions, what conditions you are using, they are going to produce this AB. Those collisions only which result into formation of product, they will be known as fruitful collisions. Now this term is very important. It is used at many places whenever you are going to do this. Okay, so that is the meaning of the term fruitful collisions. We are coming to a catalyst. In specific, I'm going to consider biocatalysts. Okay, these biocatalysts generally are going to be enzymes. Usually these reactions that are going to take place, they are going to be in the organic medium. Because organic reactions are usually very slow. And this reaction in which biocatalyst is used, for example, glucose to ethanol plus carbon dioxide. This reaction is a very slow reaction. For this, a particular temperature also will be required. The biocatalyst is going to be required. These enzymes are going to be the biocatalysts that are going to be present in yeast. All these reactions which require enzymes, which require biocatalysts, they will need a particular temperature. Normally this temperature, optimum temperature, is between 30 to 35 or 30 to 40 degrees Celsius. So for all such reactions, okay, how is the rate of reaction going to vary with temperature? As you are going to increase the rate of as you are going to increase the temperature, the rate of reaction will increase, but after that the rate of reaction starts decreasing. Okay, so this temperature range which is there is going to be approximately around 35 degrees Celsius. So as you are increasing the temperature over here, you can see in this part of the graph, you are increasing the temperature, the rate of reaction is increasing. But when you increase beyond that certain temperature, then the rate of reaction starts decreasing. The simple reason for that is the enzymes become inactive. There is a specific term used for enzymes becoming inactive. Here we have to write here, enzymes get denatured. Denatured means they become inactive. This is that particular part of reaction for catalysts. Other parts which are there, you can go through the link and then you can ask me the questions. All the factors that are affecting the rate of reaction.